Solving a proportion with fractions and decimals can look really scary, but when solving a proportion, we want to clear the fractions first. So if we do that, then it doesn't look nearly as scary. So clear the fractions first by multiplying by a common denominator. And when I say that, I just mean look at the two denominators you have and use those as your factors to clear the fractions. And then next, we want to divide factors as needed to isolate the variable. So let's take a look at this first example. We need to solve for p. P is in the denominator. We have 20 over p equals 4 over 0.5. So we also have a decimal going on here. The 0.5 is equivalent to 1/2. So if you think about it that way, it might help you. So we're going to multiply both sides of this equation by the two denominators. So p and 0.5. So whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other to keep the equation balanced. So p times 0.5. And so when I do that, I will have 20 times 0.5, or 1/2, times p over p equals 4 times 0.5 times p over 0.5. Notice that both of these have been multiplied by the same thing, and I can reduce out the common factors. On the left, I can reduce out a p, and on the right, I can reduce out a 0.5. This allows me to now write it without fractions. So I've done the clear fractions, and I've used a common denominator to do that. Now I have 20 times 0.5. Well, 20 times 0.5, or 1/2, is just 10. And on the right side, I have 4p. And now this last part here, we need to read this again. Divide the factors as needed to isolate the variable. Now our variable is on the right side, and it's multiplied by 4. So the opposite of multiplying by 4 is dividing by 4. But whatever I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And now I'm left with 10/4 equals p. Now, a lot of you probably don't like the p being on the right side of the equal sign. That's fine. We can put it on the left side, and we can just write it as 10 over 4 on the right. But remember, we also need to check to see if it reduces. So we'll divide both of these numbers by 2. And when we do that, we get 5/2. Now, because this was given to us as a combination of fractions and decimals, we could probably just leave it as 5/2, but you could also write this as 2.5, and that would also be okay. In example 2, we have solve for gamma. And this one is 18 over 0.25 equals 12 over gamma. So I'm going to do the same thing I did previously. I'm going to look at the two denominators and use those as the factors to clear my fractions. So I'll multiply both sides of this equation by 0.25 gamma. When I do that, 18 times 0.25 times gamma over 0.25 equals 12 times 0.25 times gamma over gamma. And now I can reduce out the common factors. On the left, I have a common 0.25, and on the right, I have a common gamma. And now I'll rewrite it. 18 gamma is equal to 12 times 0.25. Now, Remember, 0.25 is the same as 1/4. So if I were to divide 12 into 4 equal parts, that would be equivalent to 3. So I have 18 gamma equals 3. And you can always check this with your calculator. Multiply 12 times 0.25 and you should get 3. And now if I want to isolate the variable, I need to divide both sides by the number multiplying to gamma. So I'll divide both sides by 18, and that will give me gamma is equal to 3 over 18. Now, both of these should have a 3 in common. Gamma equals 3 divided by 3 is 1, 18 divided by 3 is 6. So this should be our final answer. We could also write this as a decimal. If we did that, it would be gamma is equal to 0.16, and the 6 repeats forever, so we put a little bar over it to indicate that.